on to our final topic, and let's get into this drag race news. So apparently, this morning I got a call from someone who I know that works in the industry who was telling me they're gonna reveal the queens who are gonna be on Drag Race later on today. I didn't know when. I just knew it was coming. So to cover my tracks, I was like, let me go up on Facebook. So I posted in the comments because I'm more or less I interact more on there because you can write like long form. I don't do the whole back and forth. I don't mess with Twitter. I keep the Twitter, but I don't mess around with dealing with the toxic fandom and stuff or people on Twitter. So Facebook is more or less my go-to. Instagram, y'all wishy-washy. Blue Sky is still relatively new. So, but but Facebook, I do engage a lot. So I posted something on there. Word on the street is that they're going to reveal the queens from Drag Race season 17 today, and I posted it, and that was that. And then people commented, whatever, whatever. So around 2 o'clock, and I was on my way home because I was out this morning. They announced that it was going to be coming out around that time. So it's only been a couple of hours since we came out. And so basically said that some of the people that we're going to have on this new season, Plain Jane's sister, Lux Noir London's daughter, and 3 queens from Florida have entered the chat as World of Wonder unleash a new set of U.S. queens ready to take on the motherfucking world. Now, shout out to Variety for this story because it says RuPaul's Drag Race, which is returning to MTV for its season 17. And you're welcome because I'm telling you the date that I told y'all, they announced it, January 3rd. I told y'all it was coming on January 3rd. And they announced it. It's coming out that first Friday. So they have it. Officially revealed the 14 new drag contestants who vie for the $200,000 grand prize. The Emmy-winning reality phenomenon will premiere with the queens showing off their skills in the annual talent show. The contestants will also continue the Rate a Queen system introduced in season 16, but with an unspecified all-new twist. And you know what? I actually like the Rate a Queen thing that they did in the beginning, and I do feel like in the first episode, what needs to always happen is that y'all should do we get to see the queens perform, and then the girls can rate each other from like who were their favorites to their least favorite. I actually like that situation, and I know that the premiere where the queens could do the red carpet, that whole situation, media, all of a sudden we got the thing. The 18th of December, yeah, December 18th. I have to look at the calendar. December 18th is when it all goes down. So now, what else did it say? Hold on. Okay, so now the after show, RuPaul's Drag Race Untucked will capture the queen's conversations and catfights each week. Child, it ain't had a catfight on that show in a month of Sundays, so I don't know what y'all referring to. Although, we had Plain Jane trying to bring the drama, but it felt a little contrived. And then we had Mistress Isabel Brooks was the more entertaining and messiest in the previous season. So, but Untucked ain't been as good in a long time. Yesterday, I was actually because here's the queens here. Let's move it to that. Yesterday, I was actually watching. I got caught in this web of, or went down this rabbit hole, I should say, when I went on YouTube of like clips and stuff from the Untucked episode because I've been trying to watch old Untucks. I can't get them. They're not available to watch. You have to, I think, buy it or something or another. But there are YouTube channels that have put it all up on there. Even the very first season one with BB Zahara Banana, and I'm like, oh, these girls were shady. I miss the old days of Untucked, and then it's like it's still uncomfortable to watch the Untucked seasons with Fifi, Sharon Needles, and Willem because Fifi was so nasty with her mouth and some of the stuff. She was so angry during that season. I'm sure she's matured a lot since then, but I hope she has. But like watching back on stuff, ooh, there's a cringe. But anyway, so it also says that here are the 14 queens, including contestants mentored by Drag Race alums Trinity the Tuck, Lux Noir London, and Irene the Alien Dubois, the drag sister of season 16 finalist Plain Jane, and a queen whose middle initial stands for butthole, and the descriptions provided by MTV. So we're going to go through the list of queens and those who, and all the information provided to us by Variety. So the first queen that we have is Acacia Forgot. I was like, okay, that is a genius name, by the way. I love it. And I have to also point out, I'm loving the aquatic theme. And I feel like we're finally getting a good theme because, last year, apparently we were robbed of a good theme, especially, the military theme, because I like that theme, but we couldn't do it because, the Palestine situation, war, all this stuff, and the army fatigue stuff, it was a little too close to home. And I think that MTV was just trying to play it safe because they didn't want to get seen as insensitive. But you got to realize they filmed these things so early on that um I don't think they meant any bias by it. That was just the overall situation. But anyway, so Acacia Forgot hymns from Los Angeles, California. And according to the logline, it says this honky tonk diva puts the country in California. Glitzy, glamorous, and with a penchant for blonde hair, Acacia Forgot has never met a rhinestone she didn't like. Musically talented as well as being a singer-songwriter. So I'm sure when they do music challenges, they're gonna really put it on her like, girl, you better excel. Step your pussy up, niece. They said Acacia plays the guitar, piano, banjo, and ukulele. Will this inspiring country star also become America's next drag superstar? So now, our next queen that we have is Ariete. At first, when I heard that name Ariana, I'm like, is she related to Diabetes, aka Diabetica? But no, she's actually from the House of Dubois, as in her drag mother being Drag Race Season 15's pork chop. Because that's why this is good. That's what she was. She was the pork chop of that season. Irene the Alien Dubois. And I actually hope that Irene comes back for um All Stars. I would even go far and say All Stars 10. I would like to see her on that because I feel like, with her shadiness and all this stuff and her looks and everything, I actually hope that she does come back for a little redemption. So they said Ariete is from the House of Dubois, as we said, obsessed with the fantasy genre. This uniquely creative queen designs and sews her own outfits, often with a futuristic elf aesthetic. Now, did we have an elf last season? From one of the girls was an elf. Well, she was from New York too. Add in the ability to beat a mean mug when needed, and this talented twisted queen is ready to go all the way in the competition. And she's from Seattle, Washington. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what she brings, and let's hope that she could actually bypass her drag mother and last longer than one episode. So, our next queen that we have is someone by the name of Crystal Envy. Now, when I heard this now, I was like, is she related to Scarlet Envy? Because the overall thing that a lot of people say, like when it comes to the queens on Drag Race, is the fact that it's always like a lot of y'all clearly taken from the girls from Drag Race, and it's like you're not even your own carving out your own identity. You are either the child of, the sibling of, or you paint yourself or drag yourself to look like somebody who's already pre-existed on Drag Race. So she's from Asbury Park, New Jersey. And I've been to Asbury Park a few times. They have a cute little gay scene out there. So it looks so polished, it's hard to believe this makeup artist and drag queen has only been performing for 3 years. In Jersey, Crystal swiftly dominated the club scene. Crystal Envy's name comes from a mixture of her birth name, Chris, and the fact that every outfit she wears is bedazzled and sparkly. This pageant princess commands a club crowd, but can Crystal hold the same command over the judges this season? Well, time will only tell, and I'm sure probably by the end of the week, we'll probably get a trailer. And then we'll find out, in the maybe 24, 48 hours, who are the judges, celebrity judges of the season. Now, our next queen is Hormona Lisa. I tell you, y'all are real clever with these names. I love it like Hormona Lisa. From Chattanooga, Tennessee. Now, the Southern Bubblegum Babe was infamously plucked from the crowd by RuPaul on the Atlanta stop of his This House of Hidden Meanings book tour and invited to Hollywood. Now officially a part of the season 17 cast, this campy queen, inspired by Disney princesses and vintage screen sirens, hopes to capture the eye of RuPaul again, this time where it counts the most, on the main stage of RuPaul's Drag Race. Well, hopefully, if she did pick this queen on her book tour stop, hopefully she actually remembers that she made that decision. Because sometimes RuPaul will be forgetting a lot of the queens, and rightfully so. There's been at least what around or even over 200 queens that have come through the doors of Drag Race. If they haven't, I'm sure they'll let us know, because they let us know when it was 100 queens. Okay, so now the next queen that we have is Jewel Sparkles. And she comes from Tampa, Florida. And it said, out of drag, this youthful queen has a sweetness and an innocence and is self-described ditzy, clumsy bimbo. Well, we all love an airhead, yeah. But don't be fooled by the rocks that she's got. I added that part in there. Jules intends to enter the competition with intention and strategy, with influences that range from Ariana Grande to Priscilla Presley to her Puerto Rican and Cuban heritage. You'll be fooled to underestimate this talented doll as merely a look queen. Well, look, we're going to hold it to it, because a lot of times when we look at the look queens, yeah, a lot of y'all don't think that they have what it takes to give talent and all the other stuff. It's like, oh, you just pretty. Prove that you can act or you can do all these other things. Okay, so now our next queen that we have is Joella, who was given Soju. Our child, like, wait, Soju coming back? How'd you sis? So she's another queen from LA. So we got 2 LA queens, I believe, so far. Now Joella calls herself the Slasian Diva, and with her own unique style of drag, mixing traditional Chinese costumes with street fashion and pop culture, you can see why. Now, having already won local West Hollywood drag bar contest, Joella is now ready to represent plus-size queens in the biggest drag competition in the world. Now, I will say this, I do like that. I love the fact that people can incorporate their own cultural aesthetic into their drag and then also bring in other things. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna bring my Asian influence, but also bring in my love of street fashion and pop culture references and all that stuff. And Rue loves a pop culture reference. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Joella will be bringing to the show. Like, so far, I haven't come across a New York queen yet. Hopefully we'll get to one. Our next queen is Corey King. And she hails from Boston, Massachusetts. Now it says, this boisterous queen has rapidly risen to the top of the Boston scene, amassing a respectable TikTok following along the way. Not only in the drag game for 2 years, it seems like a lot of young queens in here too. Corey has already been awarded Boston's Best New Performer to Watch award and is the name on everyone's lips. You mean, I thought Roxy was the one that was on everybody's lips, but that's just me. Now, she is season 16 finalist Plain Jane's drag sister, so expect a razor sharp wit and somebody who tells it like it is. Well, if she's going to tell it like it is, I'm just hoping that she tells it and is not just looking just to do stuff for the sake of because you want screen time. Because, when everybody was talking about Plain Jane on the show, they didn't feel like Plain was being authentic. She was being messy. She was trying to read. She was trying to do all those things, and it was backfiring. And the girls was reading her harder than she was reading them. So then Mistress had to jump on the line one time. I was like, you know what? If you need have somebody to show you how to read, come over here. Let me show you. So we'll see how well she does in the competition. Now, speaking of puns, we got another one. Now, this is our next queen, Lana Jarre, which sounds like a play on Lana Del Rey, who is our New York queen. Look at her. I was just talking, where the New York queen at? We got one. Now, Lana's drag mother is none other than Lux Noir London from season 15 of RuPaul's Drag Race, so expect a level of fierceness from this fashionista because, there's a lot to live up to. We saw Lux. Lux was bringing the looks, or the lurks, as Ru would say sometimes. And so we could see, excuse me, how that all turns out when she comes on the show. Now, they says Lux saw Lana competing in a New York drag competition and was so impressed, she approached her backstage and asked if she could adopt her on the spot. Now, bringing legs and body to the main stage, Lana is ready to strut away from the competition with a crown. So we'll see if she gets up there and ends up being a part of the top 4 along how when Lux was during season 15, which we all knew Sasha Colby was going to take it, but nevertheless, that's what it was. Okay, so now let's get to our next queen, who is none other than Lexi Love, who is from Louisville, Kentucky. Now, Lexi is a full-time playmate at Play Louisville, a bar known for its high-energy drag excellence. Now, as a performer, Lexi knows how to turn the party up, but she's also someone you love to kick it with. Now, having survived the period of homelessness and drug addiction, she has emerged a stronger and more independent queen and is ready for the rebirth of Lexi to take over the world. So I do like that. And, Drag Race loves a good story. Or a good comeback story. So when you go through a period of, oh yeah, I was homeless, yeah, I was addicted to the drugs, and I got myself together and became like this strong, independent queen, that is something that we love on the show. But I'm definitely curious to see how she fares amongst these queens when the show premieres in January 3rd. Now, our next queen that we have is Lucky Stars. You must be my lucky star, who is from Miami, Florida. Now, Lucky Stars was born in Havana, Cuba. Well, of course, Florida, Florida and Cuba is like peanut butter and jelly. They go together like peanut butter and jelly. They go together like milk and cereal. Or Kim Zolciak in a wig. So she's an expressive, colorful, living cartoon. Now, Lucky's drag meets at the intersection of club kid and camp, and this resourceful queen sees as much paper and spray paint as she does sequins and rhinestones. Now, Lucky describes her drag as a Venus flytrap in a room full of roses. Now, can Lucky eye-catching creativity catch the eyes of the judges this season and win her the crown? Now, here's the thing. I love club kid looks and stuff. I live for that. But I hope we're not going to get to a point where, because, Michelle loves saying this, but can you actually do beauty or glamour? And can you change it up a little bit? Why y'all always be so quick to try to come up and change these people's drag and have them do something different? I'm sure they can give you what they need based off of the runway challenges and stuff, but stop trying to change these girls to be what you want them to be. That's why one of the things I love about Dragula versus Drag Race, the art is subjective, drag is subjective. So we want you to come in and do you, but if we need you to give Phil Harbour and glamour, give us that, but give us that as you. Because I'm trying to be, oh, well, you always giving us the master and change it, yeah, all that mess. Okay, so now we have another queen, and our next queen is Lydia B. Collins. I actually like this look on her, who is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I feel like I met her. To understand this absurdist, unique queen, you only need to know that the B stands for a butthole. Named after Winona Ryder's character in Beetlejuice, Lydia Deetz, and inspired by Tim Burton, John Waters, and David Lynch, Lydia B. Collins is a queen who values creativity over perfection. Will the judges find Lydia's looks beautiful, or will her time on Drag Race be a disaster? And I love stuff like that. Like, I love a queen who's more or less about being creative over being perfect. And that's the type of drag I like too. I don't like drag being too perfect. And that's why I think, like, when we talk New York drag versus Brooklyn drag, in Brooklyn, you can be a little more sloppy and messy. Not sloppy in a bad way, but your drag doesn't have to be perfect. And I like the fact that, yeah, I'm gonna give you looks and all this other stuff, but I also want you to see that there's imperfections there's perfections in the imperfection, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I'm definitely curious to see what exactly Lydia will be bringing to it, because I do love Beetlejuice. Actually, Beetlejuice is actually supposed to be coming to Max this month. I was like, yeah, I'll wait till it comes on one of the streaming services to watch it. Okay, so now our next queen that we have is on another one with a pun named On Your Nerve, which I think I remember hearing that she was going to be on this show. So she's a smash burger cook by day, enchanting an in-demand drag artist by night. On Your Nerve got bitten by the performance bug in high school and took an artistic career path to drag via a BFA in painting from the Cleveland Institute of Art. A comedic actress, as well as being able to belt out a tune, Anya represents a real threat in this competition, because a lot of what is required in regards of the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, emphasis on the talent. If you're a comedy queen, if you can sing and you're creative in the artistic standpoint, she's definitely gonna be a force to be reckoned with on this season. So we'll see how well she does when she comes on. Now our next queen that we have is Sam Starr, who hails from Leeds, I guess that was that Alabama. So this says stunning, stylish Southern. Sam is quite the Renaissance queen, having trained in musical theater and being a retired gymnast and cheerleader who do back handsprings, which I'm sure will definitely help her if she's got a lip sync for her life. She'll be giving y'all back handsprings and very much, I'm sexy, I'm cute, I'm popular to boot, I'm bitching, great hair, all the boys love to stare. You know the line, the cheer from Bring It On. She'll be bringing us plenty of that. Now, with polished makeup skills and a gorgeous mug, Sam has gone on to win an impressive number of pageant titles for such a young queen. It's no surprise to learn that Trinity the Tuck is her drag mother and mentor. So, there's high expectations when it comes to being the child of Trinity the Tuck and having that as your mentor. And the fact that, when you have a mother who has made it real far twice and is actually co-won, because she didn't win. Well, I think technically Trinity the Tuck was going to win that season of All Stars, but because they were getting pissed saying, so y'all keep giving the white queens, because I remember that was a story. The win on All Stars, we have yet to get a black girl. They decided to make it a tie, and I know that tie definitely felt like it was a last minute situation. So after that, she's got a big shoes to fill because Trinity the Tuck made it in the finals of her season, and then she co-won All Stars. So Miss Mamas, you got a lot to live up to. Like you can live up to the Trinity the Tuck name, but also individual. You got to be able to finagle your way through the thing individually without, beyond the attachment to her being your mother. And so, last but certainly not least, or well, we have okay, so now I gotta stop this because now it wants to act up. It doesn't want to show the final picture. Susie too. Sometimes this thing want to act a fool. Susie Toot is the last queen. So she's from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Now, Susie's uniqueness is her greatest strength in drag, a professional tap dancer with a look rooted deeply in 1920s and 1930s fashions, which you definitely got from this promo shot. Susie describes herself as a cross-section between Betty Boop and Lucille Ball. Now, a skilled actor with a wild sense of humor and excellent comedic timing, Susie hopes to wow the judges with her quirky take on drag. So there you have it. Those are all of our queens from Drag Race season 17. And it seems like we only got one New York queen that's going to be representing this season. We didn't get a New York queen that won last year. So Nymphia Wynn, she is a Brooklyn girl. So not even though she is from Taiwan and all that stuff, she resides in New York. So technically she's in New York. So there's that. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of the queens of RuPaul's Drag Race? Are you excited for these girls? Like, I'm not really familiar with any of them. All we know is that they are sibling, mother, or child, or whatever, of people that have already been on the show, which is kind of the trend they've been doing. So that's to be expected. But yeah, I'm not familiar with a lot of these queens. There was two that like I said earlier, that I've heard of them and I'm familiar with them, but it's not like with the season before that with Sasha Colby. Everybody knew who Sasha Colby was, and she's well known in the circle of drag. And then last year, I was familiar with Safira Cristal because one of my closest friends lived with her at one point, and me getting to meet her and all that other stuff and hanging out and all that mess. That was the only one I was familiar with. But other than that, it's like, yeah, the more seasons we get of Drag Race, the less I'm starting to know who these queens are. So maybe I need to get my behind out to a couple of drag shows. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.